If you're a paranoid seller and you're thinking about selling your home, here's the truth of what buyers are going to really think about your home before you even list on the market. I'm going to be covering down every single buyer that I work with and what did they point out so that when you do put it on the market, you'll know exactly what to do, what to look out for, and actually generate the most amount of money and actually be the first pick of when buyers are actually going to go see properties so that you can be in the number one position. What's going on, guys? My name is Cody with eXp Realty, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you what the truth is. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more valuable videos like these. Be sure to check out my social medias if you want more valuable informational videos like this. But without further ado, let's waste no more time. Let's jump into the truth of what buyers think. Number one, why does it matter? Why does it matter that I do certain things to my house before I list it? You gotta think about it. I'm mainly a listing agent and a buyer's agent, but I mainly focus on listings, but I also help buyers as well. But one thing that I tell my clients is that you have to think of what a buyer's going to think, especially if a buyer's agent is showing a property, showing multiple properties. What does that mean when you're showing multiple properties? You're competing against other people, not only in the area, maybe in a different area. But if you are want to be in the number one position to get an offer from that client, you have to think about what buyers are thinking. And the biggest selling points when it comes to selling the property is the kitchen, master bedroom, master bathroom, and the front and backyard. Those are the main selling points of a house. So if you don't have all those checked, you're probably going to be on the last list of buyers. And continue watching this video because I'm going to put you in the number one position when you do decide to list. This is what buyers are really thinking about. And number one's going to be weird. This is called the smell test. Trust me, guys, hear me out. I have listings that smelled really bad. And you know what happened when you have a smelly listing? People are going to think there's major issues, like major issues in mold. What's wrong with the plumbing? Sometimes that can be a direct turnoff to buyers if it smells very funky. It smells weird. It don't smell right. It smells like something that's wrong with the property. That will immediately turn buyers around, back out the door. So make sure that everything is good, especially with the plumbing. The only way that will actually make a home smell bad is if you turn off the water, if something's wrong with the plumbing, or if something it smells like mold. Make sure to get those checked out. Make sure to get those fixed before you decide to put it on the market because you're shooting yourself in the foot if you decide to put a listing on the market that smells bad. You're just going to drive away everybody that comes to the property. You don't want that. Number two, the clutter effect. This basically means that if your house is very messy, you don't want to do that. Trust me, I've sold properties that people were just not willing to clean up. And you know what resulted that in? Getting a much lower offer than anticipated. And unfortunately, that client had to accept the low offer because I gave him two options. You either have to clean the property, make it look well, or expect people to walk through and not offering what you're asking for. It ended up, not cleaning it up, or you're just not putting in the work of actually cleaning up the property. And unfortunately, he knew what he was getting into. And I don't want that for you. So the clutter effect. If a buyer walks through your house and just sees a whole bunch of mess, and they just can't picture themselves living in the property, that is bad news for you because not only is it going to drive away from them, especially if they're looking at other houses, if they want to make an offer on the property, it's going to be lower because either in the inspection report they're going to want you to clean the property, and if you don't want to do that, be expected to either the buyer to walk away or to come up with some more money for them to afford a cleaning crew. So be sure to clean your property, get rid of this effect, because I always tell my clients, especially my sellers, that you want to picture a buyer. You want to think of what a buyer is going to think. They're going to walk through this property. They're going to picture themselves. The kids are going to choose out the rooms. The dad is going to, imagine him putting the grill or whatever. The wife is going to do the kitchen and all that stuff. Make sure it's clean. Pretty simple. Number three, this is a very important one. Why didn't they fix that? That is super bad news for you because if you get this reaction, especially if you have like cameras around the property, and you hear people say this, that is very bad news because you're driving away buyers who are already giving you like bad feedback about the property, even though you think, oh, my property is good, my property is all this and that, and then come to realize that when you do put it on the market and you get real feedback from people who are saying, why didn't they fix that? Terrible news for you. Even if you do get an offer on the property, they're going to make sure that that's going to be a negotiation tactic for them to get less than what you're asking for. For example, if you get something like Hey, why didn't you fix the crack in the wall? Why didn't you, repair the shower head? Why didn't you do small things? Buyers are liars. So they will find anything to negotiate off the price. So one thing that you want to do before you list, or if you already listed, make sure you make the necessary repairs. Now, don't waste your money on, putting paint on the wall or something that's going to result you into you wasting your money when somebody could immediately just work with that. So always fix things in the house. If you get this, that is bad news. This is a wake up call for you to fix whatever they just pointed out. Number four, this is kind of a rare one: the flow of the property. Now, this will only happen to super nitpicky buyers who would say, the furniture is not matching the property. The paint doesn't look right with the furniture that's going on in the house. Even though I said don't worry about the paint, but this is only spectacle to very picky buyers, and sometimes very picky buyers get annoying sometimes, but it does exist to this day. So this is something I wouldn't necessarily focus on because everybody has their own preferences. But if you get this consistently, if you get the flow, bad reaction consistently as feedback, that should let you know that something is not right about this property. Something just doesn't fit about this property. And it's basically meaning the overall just the structure, you can't control that, but the overall just the what you did to the property. So that's not looking at it as the property's fault. It's basically what a cosmetic does to a person. So it can go both ways, but I wouldn't fairly focus on this until you get real feedback of the flow of what people would ask for. And number five, which is the most important one, I see myself living here. This is the biggest one. I saved the best for last. If you're not getting this, if you don't have a family that is walking through your property and already choosing the rooms, the dad's already doing this, the wife's already doing that, that's already good news for you because they're already choosing you. That means you're at the top of the list. But if you're not getting this, if you can't make a buyer see them living themselves inside your property, that's why staging is important. But if you don't get this, that's bad news because a lot of people want to see themselves living in your property. I always, like I said earlier, you want to picture what a buyer is going to do. And I'll always tell my sellers this. So if you are staging a property, if you're making a property look good, if you're putting it on the market, make it look like you're looking for the property. Always ask yourself, if I was a home buyer, and I'm looking at my property right now, if I was a home buyer, would I picture myself living here? Truthfully, answer that question for you. Would I truthfully live here? And give yourself an unbiased answer because that's going to be real feedback for you. So always make it seem like, can I see myself living here? Ask a family, ask a friend, ask a family member to come to your house before you put it on the market. Can they picture themselves living here? That's going to be true feedback from before you even put it on the market. To overall recap this video, basically make sure your house is up to date. Now, don't get crazy with it because you don't have to do a lot of these things. The most important things that I would say is one, make sure the smell is right. Get rid of the clutter effect. Make sure that you fix things and make sure that people can see themselves living here. So focus on these four things. You'll be all right. You'll get what you're asking for and maybe possibly get above if you actually make your property stand out and making sure it is very well presented, very well priced, and the pictures are on top. So hopefully you enjoyed this short video on what buyers truly think of your home. Like I said, be sure to like and subscribe if you want more valuable videos like these. Be sure to check out all my social medias if you want more value. I have listings coming up. Be sure to check out my website. And that is about it, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get it.